It starts subtly. A grocery bag that feels heavier than you remember. A moment of hesitation before pushing yourself up from a low chair. You stumble on a flat sidewalk. A flicker of imbalance you dismiss as clumsiness. You tell yourself, I'm just getting older. But what if it's not that simple? What if a silent thief is operating inside your body, systematically dismantling the very framework of your strength and independence? If this feeling is even remotely familiar, or you want to ensure it never is, subscribe to this channel right now, because the information we're about to share is foundational to how you will live the rest of your life. This thief has a name: Sarcopenia. The word sounds clinical, but its effects are deeply personal. Derived from the Greek for poverty of the flesh. It describes a progressive loss of skeletal muscle mass and strength that goes far beyond the normal, gentle decline of aging. Think of normal aging as a slow, predictable tide going out over many years. Sarcopenia is a rogue wave, rapidly and dangerously eroding the shoreline of your physical capabilities. It's the difference between a car naturally losing a bit of horsepower over 3 decades, versus having its engine systematically stripped of its core components, leaving you stranded and powerless. The consequences of this theft creep into every corner of daily life. It's what makes opening a stubborn jar an impossible feat, or turns a simple flight of stairs into a daunting mountain. Critically, it's the primary reason why falls become so common, and so devastatingly dangerous. That sudden loss of balance, that inability to quickly correct a misstep, is a direct result of weakened core and leg muscles. The statistics are unforgiving. Inactive adults can lose up to 5% of their muscle mass each and every decade after the age of 30. For millions, this robbery is already in progress, and the price it demands is your independence. And this is not some rare, obscure condition. Sarcopenia is a hidden epidemic, affecting over 30% of all people over the age of 60, and nearly half of those over 80. Yet, it often goes completely undiagnosed, dismissed by both patients and even doctors as an inevitable, untreatable part of getting old. This fundamental misunderstanding is the thief's greatest advantage. By hiding in the shadow of normal aging, it avoids detection while it continues its destructive work. It quietly increases hospitalization risk, complicates recovery from any illness or surgery, and is a primary driver behind the loss of vitality we all fear most. For decades, the consensus was grim. Sarcopenia was viewed as a one-way street, an irreversible decline that we could only hope to manage. But that entire narrative is now being torn apart by breakthrough science. We now understand the specific biological mechanisms that this thief exploits to weaken you from within. More importantly, we have discovered exactly how to fight back. There is a precise, evidence-based protocol, a blueprint, that can not only halt this muscular decay, but can actively reverse it, rebuilding what was lost. It doesn't involve a miracle pill or a mythical fountain of youth. It involves a strategic understanding of your own biology. In the next part, we will reveal the first, and perhaps most critical, pillar of this protocol to reclaim your strength. To defeat this thief, we must first understand its methods. Your muscle is in a constant state of renovation. Imagine a construction crew building new structures. This is muscle protein synthesis. Simultaneously, a demolition crew tears down old, damaged parts. This is muscle protein breakdown. In your youth, the construction crew easily outpaces demolition, resulting in growth and strength. But as the years pass, a shift occurs. The demolition crew starts working overtime, and the builders get sluggish. The balance tips, and for the first time, you begin losing more than you build. This isn't a sudden collapse. It's a slow, calculated takeover where demolition gains the upper hand. The first reason for this hostile takeover is a phenomenon scientists call anabolic resistance. Think of anabolic as the command to build. When you eat protein or lift a weight, your body sends a powerful signal to your muscles, screaming, build. In your 20s, your muscles are incredibly receptive. They hear this signal loud and clear, and get to work immediately. With age, however, your muscles develop a form of selective hearing. The same signal is sent, but the muscle cells barely react. It's as if the foreman is shouting instructions, but the workers are wearing earplugs. They now need a much louder, more insistent command, more protein, more intense stimulus just to get the same response they once gave so easily. Compounding this is a crisis in the muscle's power grid: mitochondrial dysfunction. Your mitochondria are the microscopic power plants inside every muscle cell, converting food into the raw energy needed for movement, repair, and growth. As we age, these power plants become old and inefficient. They start producing less energy and, critically, more industrial waste in the form of free radicals. Imagine a city's power stations becoming rusty, producing less electricity while spewing out thick, toxic smoke. This energy deficit starves the muscle-building process, while the toxic smoke actively damages the cellular machinery. The construction crew not only has fewer instructions, but now lacks the power to even run its tools. These two factors, anabolic resistance and mitochondrial decay, don't just coexist. They conspire, creating a devastating feedback loop. With less energy from faulty mitochondria, you feel less inclined to be active. This inactivity makes your muscles even more resistant to the build signals from what little exercise you do manage. This worsening anabolic resistance means even less muscle is maintained, which in turn leads to a further decline in the number and quality of your mitochondria. It's a downward spiral where weakness encourages stillness, and stillness accelerates weakness. This is why sarcopenia can feel like a slow creep for years, and then suddenly, a rapid, unforgiving plunge. Finally, there's the forgotten connection, the nervous system. Your muscles don't act alone. They respond to precise electrical commands sent from your brain through your nerves. With age, this communication line begins to fray. The signals become weaker, and some of the connections, the neuromuscular junctions, are lost entirely. Think of it as the phone lines to individual workers on the construction site being cut. Those workers, the individual muscle fibers, are now isolated. Without orders, they have no purpose. They sit idle, shrink, and eventually wither away. This is why sarcopenia isn't just a loss of size, but a profound loss of strength and coordination. The entire system is failing, not just the muscle. Now that we understand the biological mechanisms of muscle decay, we can begin to dismantle them. The first and most critical component of this protocol isn't a magic pill or an exotic superfood. It's a strategic nutritional override designed to directly combat the anabolic resistance we just discussed. We are going to flip the switch back on. This isn't about simply eating more calories. It's about providing your body with the precise building blocks, at the precise dosage, needed to force the muscle-building machinery back into action, regardless of age. We are essentially sending an undeniable signal to our muscles. It is time to grow again. The cornerstone of this signal is protein, but the execution is key. For decades, we focused on total daily intake. But research reveals a more critical truth. The amount of protein per meal is what truly stimulates muscle growth. The scientific consensus points to a specific threshold of approximately 30 grams of high-quality protein in a single sitting. Anything less, especially in an aging body, fails to overcome anabolic resistance. It's like trying to push a stalled car. A small nudge does nothing. That 30-gram dose is the powerful, coordinated push your muscles are waiting for. What makes that 30-gram dose so effective? The answer is a single amino acid, leucine. Think of leucine as the ignition key for muscle protein synthesis. You can have a full tank of gasol, the other amino acids, but without that key, the engine won't start. Leucine is the primary trigger for the mTOR pathway, the master regulator of cell growth, to begin building new muscle. If you're finding this scientific breakdown useful, hit the like button and tell us your go-to protein source in the comments. Without sufficient leucine, the muscle-building signal is too weak, and the opportunity is wasted. This isn't theory. It's backed by extensive research. Studies have repeatedly shown that meals with a leucine-rich 30-gram protein bolus trigger a significantly more robust muscle-building response than smaller doses. This is why your protein source is so critical. Whey protein is the gold standard for its high leucine content and rapid absorption. However, other excellent sources that hit this threshold include lean meats, fish like salmon or tuna, eggs, and Greek yogurt. These foods provide the complete amino acid package, with leucine firmly in the driver's seat. So, the first step of our protocol is simple. Aim for at least 3 meals a day, each containing around 30 grams of high-quality, leucine-rich protein. This strategy ensures you are flipping the anabolic switch multiple times throughout the day, consistently combating muscle breakdown. This nutritional foundation is non-negotiable. It provides the raw materials your body desperately needs. But providing the fuel is only half the battle. The muscles must receive a powerful stimulus to actually use those materials. And that brings us to the second, equally crucial pillar of our protocol. So, we've loaded the body with essential fuel, the high-quality protein providing the bricks for muscle reconstruction. But a stockpile of building materials is useless without a command to build. That command, the unequivocal signal that initiates construction, is resistance training. This is more than just movement. It's the strategic application of mechanical tension. When you force a muscle to contract against a challenging load, you send a powerful biological message to your DNA. It's a message that says, we are under stress. We must adapt. We must grow stronger to survive this demand. This process works by creating microscopic, controlled damage to the muscle fibers. This isn't destructive. It's a catalyst. It triggers a cascade of repair signals, rushing the amino acids from your last meal to the site. The body doesn't just patch the fibers. It overcompensates, rebuilding them thicker and more resilient. This is the physiological mechanism that directly overrides anabolic resistance. The physical stress makes the muscle cells desperately hungry for nutrients, forcing them to increase their sensitivity and absorb the building blocks they were previously ignoring. It's the wake-up call the cells needed. Perhaps the most damaging myth is that this process is reserved for the young, that older adults are too fragile for strength training. This is a profound misunderstanding. In truth, a supervised resistance program is the single most potent anti-frailty intervention available. The key isn't lifting massive weights. It's the principle of progressive overload, which simply means making the task slightly harder over time. It can start with your own body weight. The goal is to challenge the muscle, whatever its current capacity. The body's adaptive response remains the same. Whether you're 28 or 82, for maximum efficiency and real-world benefit, the focus should be on compound movements. These are exercises like squats, rows, and overhead presses that engage multiple joints and large muscle groups at once. Unlike isolation exercises, compound lifts mimic how our bodies move in daily life, lifting a grandchild, carrying groceries, or getting up from a chair. This functional approach builds more muscle in less time and triggers a more robust hormonal response, creating a systemic environment primed for growth and repair, all while improving coordination and balance. Ultimately, this reveals the synergy required to defeat sarcopenia. The protein we consume is the fuel, but resistance training is the ignition, the command that tells the engine what to do with that fuel. One without the other is fundamentally inefficient. You can flood your system with protein, but without the stimulus of exercise, much of it lacks a clear destination. It's the powerful combination of providing the materials and then issuing the command to build that turns the tide, transforming the body from a state of decline into one of active regeneration. We've laid out two pillars, the nutritional trigger and the resistance command. But their true power isn't additive, it's multiplicative. Consuming the right protein without the stimulus of exercise is like delivering lumber to a construction site with no builders. The potential sits unused. Conversely, training hard without that protein is like sending builders with no materials. They have orders, but cannot execute. True progress only happens when raw materials align with the signal to build. This synergy is the engine of the protocol, transforming potential into tangible strength. One without the other is a wasted effort. Yet, there is a third, silent partner, recovery. We glorify the work, but muscle isn't built in the gym. It's torn down. The actual growth happens when you rest. This is when your body takes the protein you've consumed and, guided by the signal from your training, repairs and reinforces muscle fibers, making them stronger. Chronic sleep deprivation and insufficient downtime are the fastest routes to burnout and injury. You must treat recovery with the same seriousness as your nutrition and training. It is the crucial period where your hard work solidifies into real, lasting results. It is also critical to understand this is a framework, not a rigid prescription. The principle of individuality is paramount. The optimal training for a 75-year-old beginner is vastly different from a 55-year-old with a decade of experience. You must learn to listen to your body. Some days you will feel strong. Other days, you may need to scale back. The goal is not destruction, but a consistent, manageable stimulus over years. Your plan must be adaptable, evolving as you get stronger. This is not a short-term challenge. It is a lifelong strategy for vitality. This leads to our most important point. The information presented here is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. Before beginning any new nutrition or exercise program, it is essential that you consult with your physician. They can assess your individual health status, consider any pre-existing conditions, and determine if this approach is safe for you. Working with a certified personal trainer or physical therapist can also provide invaluable guidance on proper form and safe progression. Your health is your greatest asset. Please, make informed decisions under professional guidance. Ultimately, this journey is about empowerment. It's about rejecting the narrative that decline is inevitable with age. By applying these principles, the synergy of nutrition, exercise, and rest, you are taking direct control of your physical future. You are building the foundation for a longer, more vibrant, and independent life. You are building the capacity to live without limitations. The power to forge a stronger self resides within you, and while a strong body is foundational, it's just the beginning. In our next video, we'll explore how this same protocol can build a sharper, resilient mind. To continue this journey, subscribe and hit the notification bell. You won't want to miss it.